When you want, we've got exit polls breaking down pretty much every characteristic.
All right, let's do it.
So they're saying that, according to CBS, that they think she's going to win 68-31.
Wow.
Which would be ahead of beyond the polls, which is possible. I mean, that seems like pretty far, very different from the polls. The age group breakdown is what you would expect. He wins 17-29, but then she wins all the rest. And once you get to 65 and over, which is 19% of the vote, this is a primary, she wins 80-19.
Wow.
Let's see. She wins black voters 84-16.
So that just proves why advertisers don't value senior citizens, because they're set in their ways. You're not going to change their mind or get them to buy something different.
He actually won the white vote 58-42. Let's see. He won white men 68-32. He won white women 51-49.
That's
but
interesting.
black women voted 86-14 for Hillary. Let's see. I'm trying to find. They have the income breakdown and everything like that. She won very liberal. She won somewhat liberal, moderate, and conservative. She won all of those. Oh, there was one. Hold on. Honest. So, yeah, depending on which of the different categories you say are most important, they break down who they voted for. The electability one can win in November, which is only 10% of the electorate. She wins 79-21. So despite all that we're saying, it's not getting out there. Cares about people like me, which is 1/3. She won 61-38. They don't have the racial breakdown there.
That's fair. I don't agree with that, but if they think that she cares more about them than Bernie Sanders, that's a very fair way to vote.
Honest and trustworthy, he wins, but only 54-45.
That's interesting. I mean,
That's very interesting.
Look, it was 61% African Americans who voted in this Democratic primary in South Carolina. They voted overwhelmingly, as John just explained to you, in favor of Hillary Clinton. And they like her. They like her, they trust her, and whether you think that's right or wrong, or we think that's right or wrong, that's not our call to make.
Yeah.
So that's the call they made in South Carolina. If African Americans continue to make that call throughout the country, they will be right. It will be a firewall for her that will be enormously hard to breach.
Yeah. We do have one other category that's interesting, and this goes back to what Ben was talking about a week or two ago about wanting I don't care if the politicians are honest. I want one who's going to go out there and lie as long as they get done what I want them to get done. It doesn't look like the primary voters agree at all, because when they break down who do you think is honest and trustworthy, for the people who say only Clinton, they go 95-5 Clinton. People who say only Sanders, 95-5 Sanders. Both of them went 77-22 to Clinton. So that seems, I don't know you're going to find numbers that are that strongly correlated with someone's vote as, do you think this person is honest or not? So if you can make the case that this person is not honest and people believe it, they are not voting for them, it seems like, at least in South Carolina.
Look, Wes Clark often makes this case about women over 40 that support Hillary Clinton. They feel a certain empathy towards her.
Right.
When she's attacked, they feel like they're attacked. And I think it's true for a lot of African Americans as well. So when you attack her and say she's not honest or trustworthy, I don't mean you, I mean anyone, right? They recoil and go, no, I'm going to support her more. Because they feel like if you attack the Clintons, you're attacking us. And so that is going to be a tough thing to overcome, because that means your attacks are counterproductive.
I have something really interesting here, and this is, I don't have the numbers to compare it to previous states, but my impression is this is very different than previous states. So when did you finally decide for whom to vote in the presidential primary? And we've seen in these past states that a lot of people, and a significant portion in the past day or two, and certainly in the past week or two, just today is 8%, which is somewhat significant. Last few days, 7%. In the last month is 17%. That's a good chunk, and that went 53% Clinton, 45% Sanders. So the people who were still in the last month still thinking about it were just as likely to go Sanders, basically. Before that, before a month ago, was 61% of the electorate, and she won that 72-28. That's not like these other states, man. People had their mind made up more than a month ago in South Carolina.
And Sanders could not move those minds.
And that past month, by the way, is all of his victories in these past primaries, all of the momentum that you're supposed to have from beating expectations, in hindsight, beating expectations in Nevada, especially amongst Latino voters, crushing in New Hampshire, and almost surpassing her in Iowa, was ignored by 61% of the electorate in South Carolina, at least according to them.
look, if you're a Bernie Sanders supporter and you were against Hillary Clinton in 2008 too, which by the way, I'm in that category. Well, you got to temper your disappointment. This is the same South Carolina to deliver for Barack Obama and beat Hillary Clinton. If you weren't complaining back then, you shouldn't be complaining now.
Yeah,
right?
look, and I think that South Carolina's support for Barack Obama is one of the reasons why Hillary won by a landslide in the state, right? Like, I think that Hillary has been very, very good in her messaging in terms of making it seem like Bernie Sanders is going to undo everything that Obama did. He's not. He has no interest in repealing the Affordable Care Act. He just wants to ensure that we have a better system in place and then repeal it, right? But it doesn't matter. Hillary's messaging has been good, and I think that black voters have bought into it. He's not going to undo what Obama did. He has no interest in that.
Can you imagine he comes in and he's like, all right, I'm getting rid of Obamacare. He would never do that.
It's just
That's not how it
inconceivable.
works. But yeah, but that's the thing. If Bernie Sanders, it's again, Jimmy's right. I feel like we're watching Republicans here, right? And it's because there's a reason for that, because the establishment is clearly on one side, as they are with Republicans, right? So if Bernie Sanders says anything that isn't absolutely 110% true, they will jump down his throat like,
God
I
damn it.
see this radical guy.
Yes.
You know, and look at what he did with the voter database. And
Remember
right?
what happened where he like accidentally thought that there was like some paper that endorsed him, and it turns out that they didn't endorse him.
Oh,
they endorsed
yeah.
Hillary, and everyone was like losing their mind over that.
Yeah.
One, no one gives a shit about newspaper endorsements, right? Like no one sits around wondering like, oh my God, what does this Tribune in some random state think about Bernie? I don't give a shit. People don't care. And Bernie Sanders is
care
not
about the
going to like go out of his way to lie about a paper endorsing him.
Yeah. You know who's really happy about that mistake with the endorsement?
Yeah.
It was that paper. Because 99% of the people that were angry about that had never heard of the paper before.
I
Maybe
wasn't-
some of them subscribed.
That's weird because I was going to vote for Hillary, and then the New Hampshire Statesman endorsed.
Okay, now, on the other hand, Hillary Clinton keeps saying that Bernie Sanders will repeal Obamacare, and I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone correct her in the media.
Right.
No, that's what I'm trying to
Like,
say when
how
I
can
see
you
did
not
a
correct
little,
that? Isn't that like that
Yes.
could be like PolitiFact lie of the year?
So
Pants on
people
fire.
think that I'm calling voters in South Carolina stupid for voting for Hillary. No. I am not calling you stupid at all. I'm saying it's a failure of the media because they don't challenge Hillary when she says things like,
correct.
oh, he's going to appeal the Affordable Care Act. He's going to undo what Obama's done. The media does not correct her, so that kind of misinformation spreads. And I think that there's some portion of the voters who buy into it and they vote for Hillary as a result. That doesn't mean that the voters are stupid. It means that we have a broken system.